Hi everyone, I'm Nicky Christmas, the founder and editor of Practically Perfect PA. Today I thought I would do something a little bit different and introduce you to, I guess, a sort of webinar blog post. So today we're going to be talking about building rapport with your manager and why that's important for PAs. So to start with, just to think about it really, the relationship that you create and manage with your boss is critical for your work success and career progress. For PAs, it can be a really daunting task working with a senior member of staff because we do need to build strong and close working relationships with our bosses. Now, what does rapport actually mean? Well, the dictionary defines rapport as a relationship characterized by harmony, conformity, accord, or affinity. Now that sounds brilliant, doesn't it? Who wouldn't want to work with a boss and have that kind of relationship? Having rapport in general with your manager certainly does have its benefits, and here are just a few. So the first one is there will be increased trust between you and your manager. And trust can lead to more interesting and challenging projects for you. There will be a more relaxed environment at work that's based on positivity. You will both be able to speak more openly with each other about working issues. You will both be able to provide feedback on the relationship. You know, what's working, what isn't working, what could you both be doing better? You will also be able to ask for feedback so that you know how well you are performing. And you'll have credibility at work because your manager respects and trusts you, which is really vital for an assistant. And lastly, your confidence will increase and you'll feel more appreciated. So for all of those reasons, assistants must establish a good rapport with their manager. So what I'm going to do now is have a look at some of the steps assistants can take to build and maintain a good rapport. And this is the first one, face-to-face meetings. In today's world, there are so many ways we can communicate with our managers, but to build and maintain a good rapport, you have to communicate regularly and you have to have face-to-face communications with your manager. You should have a consistent approach to your communications so that you can ensure you are always there when they need you and they can rely on you for that. They'll know that you're there and they can find you when they need you. I cannot begin to tell you how important it is that you meet regularly with your manager, at the very least once a day. And in this meeting, you should come prepared. You should always come prepared for every meeting and make sure you have enough information for your boss to make any decisions you want during that meeting. We're already managing their time, but coming prepared will also mean that we get what we want out of that time that we spend together with them. So always make sure you make the most of the time together. During your time together, focus on their priorities for the week, the month, and the year ahead, but also help them assess their priorities. What do they need to do today, this week, next month? When you're communicating together, ensure you get the most out of their time, but you also get the most out of your time. They need to know that you value your time as much as you do theirs, because then you'll have some kind of mutual respect where they know that you're concerned about your time as much as they're concerned about their time, because you know you have stuff to do as well that's important. Great assistants understand that their focus needs to be on their manager. You need to know, what are their goals, what do they want to accomplish, and what do they want from you to achieve those goals. The focus obviously has to be on them, not you. So do try to schedule at least a weekly meeting during which you are prepared with the list of what you need and your questions. This allows them to accomplish work without regular interruptions. You can go in, go through your checklist, get all of the answers you need, and go away and make all of that happen. Another really good thing with face-to-face meetings is you can ask for feedback, which is a really big one. Now, I used to have a boss that used to travel all the time, so we actually didn't have much chance to meet face-to-face. So I would often schedule what I called a catch-up meeting to inform them about what I'd been working on. I also submitted a bi-monthly status report, which I was really happy to do because I wanted them to know exactly what I was doing, and if they needed to, they could provide feedback to me straight away. You do need to communicate well with your manager. And here are just a few tips to help you communicate effectively with your manager. First of all, you need to learn how your manager prefers to communicate. So some managers like to have frequent face-to-face meetings, while others prefer maybe an email or phone check-ins. Your manager might like to get frequent updates on a project, or they may want to be informed only if there's a problem. Pay attention to your manager's communication style and ask what communication methods they prefer. This way, when you do need to talk about something important, you will be heard. Keep your manager up to date. Don't allow your manager to be surprised by anything. Make sure they always know what they need to know in order to head off any potential problems or be prepared for questions or requests from customers, co-workers, or even their manager. Always incorporate feedback as part of your ongoing relationship with your manager. As I said, this is really important. Asking for feedback and acting on the advice you get lets your manager know that you care about improving your work and that you value their opinion. Let your manager know what you need from them too, saying things like, you've written comments on this report, they were really helpful. I really understand what you're looking for now. That helps your manager understand what you need in order to do a good job. It's always worthwhile being sincere and specific about what you appreciate, so your comments are not mistaken as potentially carrying favour, which could obviously alienate you or your co-workers. Be sincere, but do ask for feedback and do let them know that you appreciate it. Obviously, when something goes well, send your manager an email right away and let them know what you've done. Sometimes they're so busy that they don't quite realise how much work you actually do. So it's always worthwhile advertising your accomplishments. It adds a positive note to the day, and perhaps it gives your manager something that they'll want to forward on to their manager. Also, you can save a copy for your own records, and you can use that during your performance reviews. Now, another really great way of building rapport with your manager is to stay close and communicate regularly with their other members of staff, specifically their most trusted advisors. Get to know your manager's trusted allies, the people they may go to lunch with or have drinks with after work. Be really welcoming and helpful to those people because your approach will be fed back to your manager. If you haven't done so already, schedule meetings with your manager's staff, perhaps once a month for a half an hour catch up over coffee. It will give you such a real insight into what is happening in the company and how this affects your manager. During these meetings, ask them about your manager and how they like to work. There might always be a new approach you haven't tried before, and you will gain a better understanding of your manager from other perspectives. If you can get on really well with your manager's trusted advisors, this will also increase your chance of being one. Pay attention to the type of person your manager gets along with. Do they like go-getters, high achievers? Do they surround themselves with creative types or prefer those that get on with, that just get on with the task they're given? Your manager's reaction to others can really help you understand their work style, and you can adapt yours accordingly. Now, if they're the kind of person that's abrupt with everyone, at least you'll know that that's not personal as well. Always think about the quick wins that you can achieve easily that will impress your boss. Be it clearing that long overdue filing or using your contacts to get them an upgrade on a flight. Put your boss's needs at the centre of your universe. Identify your boss's areas of weaknesses or the work they find challenging and ask them what you can do to help, or simply start completing those tasks that they hate to do. Great assistants understand that the relationship with the boss is a two-way street. We should not be reliant on them to always know what is required to make the relationship work. We should take control of the relationship by matching their expectations. Now, if you take on some quick wins, you'll show your manager how capable you are and that you can rely on, or that they can rely on you completely. Understand your manager's goals and priorities and place the emphasis of your work on matching their objectives. Now, proactivity is always going to be key. In everything we do, proactivity is a required skill, and this is definitely the case when it comes to building rapport with your executive. You need to be on top of everything that you do so that your manager doesn't have to worry about managing you. That's really important for PAs. Now, a good way of appearing proactive is keeping a record on the status of each task that your manager has given you. If you are able to reel off updates whenever you're asked, you will look in complete control. One of the most basic but important things that you can do is to show up for work on time. This action alone can count for a large part of having a good working relationship with your manager. Being punctual and dependable and proactive will show your manager that they can trust and respect you. Now, with any relationship, the one you have with your manager should be built on respect and trust. But for assistance, it really is vital, and it's so necessary for your manager to trust and respect you explicitly. You must give your manager evidence that they can trust you, and here are a few examples of how you can build that trust and respect. Listen to everything they have to say. Take any relevant information they've shared with you and action what you can. Always make sure that they don't have to repeat a request. Show empathy, not just for your manager, but for your colleagues as well. Empathizing with their point of view shows respect, and it means that you value other people's opinions and feelings, which should lead them to trust you more. Meet deadlines. Now, to guarantee trust, meeting deadlines and delivering work when you say you're going to is really important. The first step is in managing up, which is a big thing for PAs, is to develop a positive relationship with your manager. Now, relationships, as we said, are based on trust, and they're based on saying what you're going to do and following through with that. So keep timeline commitments. Don't ever blindside your manager with surprises that you could have predicted or prevented. Keep them informed about your projects and interactions with the rest of the organisation, and always try to meet deadlines. And if you can't meet a deadline, let them know as soon as you know. Now, this is a really big one. Keep confidential matters top secret. If we want to have a relationship with our manager that's built on trust, we have to maintain confidentiality. It is vital, it really is. In your relationship with your boss, you'll have disagreements at times, and occasionally you'll experience an emotional reaction to that. But don't hold grudges. Disagreement is fine, discord is not. So for rapport to build, you need to come to terms with the fact that your boss has more authority and power than you do, and you have to respect them for that. But at the same time, they do have to show you mutual respect as well. So by building rapport, by keeping confidential matters top secret, by meeting deadlines, for all of this stuff, you really will start to build rapport, and you'll start to notice how much of a difference this makes in your career. The next step in rapport building is probably an obvious one, but they are human. Sometimes we forget that about our managers. We kind of forget that they have a life outside of work. They do have worries, they have good times, and sometimes it's easy for us to forget that they have bad times as well, especially when they're barking orders at us. Now, a few years ago, I had an interim manager that I really didn't see eye to eye with at all, but my perspective of him completely changed after we both got stuck at home due to snow. I phoned him up to say I couldn't make it to work that day, and it took me forever to get through to him on the phone, and it was because he was outside playing in the snow with his daughter. Now, I must admit, I was completely shocked he even had kids. It really did change my view of him, and actually the next day it gave us something to talk about, and we started to build rapport from there. Talking to your manager about the things you do outside of the office, it may seem a bit daunting, or it may even seem like a complete waste of time, but I do think it helps maintain a good relationship between the two of you. Ask them how their evening or weekend was, and do look genuinely interested when they answer. You may find that you have things in common, and even if they don't want to particularly know much about what you do outside of work, you have at least gained a little insight into how their mood might be that day. They share the human existence just as much as we do, with all of its joys and sorrows, so they will have on and off days. As you develop a rapport, you'll soon spot the moments you need to avoid them, and the moments you can bring new and exciting ideas to them, which again is really helpful for PAs. What motivates them? Understanding their motivation is crucial for an effective relationship. You know they're human and they have a reason why they do what they do, so bear that in mind at all times. For example, are they money focused and that's why every dime is accounted for? Are they a bit more creative and don't particularly care about the details? If you focus on the positive traits in your manager, it will help you understand what drives them to be successful. Be a sounding board. So once, God, a long time ago now, when I was at university, I worked in a call centre which took complaints from customers. I realised pretty quickly that I would have to build a rapport with these callers so that I wasn't just being shouted at all day. I found that most of the customers really wanted someone just to listen to what they were actually saying and then action that request quickly and with actually no further hassle to them. I've carried that skill throughout my career and have always applied it to my executives. They want someone they can talk to and know that their needs are being met. Because actually, how often do senior executives get to talk to their colleagues about their frustrations? The more senior they are, actually, the less chance of this happening, right? So be there when they need to let off steam and talk to someone about their frustrations. Assistants are actually in this perfect position to be a trusting soundboard for them. Show your sense of humour. Now, again, this may seem pretty generic advice, but I think it's worth reiterating. Your manager has so many difficult issues they have to deal with on a day-to-day basis that you simply cannot be one of them. You have to be the one easy part of their day. So always try to remain positive, even when it's really hard. You need to make them happy. And one of the most effective ways I've found to manage my relationships with executives is actually not to take them too seriously. Now, this may sound, I guess, slightly controversial, but let me explain. I'm not talking about the work itself. This is obviously important and should be treated as such, but actually the relationship itself can be handled with a lighter touch. If you appear to be happy and can have a good time at work, it enhances the relationship you have with your colleagues, and that includes your executive. If you're having a conversation and a good time with some colleagues, let your executive in on the joke once in a while and include them in the conversation. The relationship will work so much better if you can form a friendship as well as a relationship that's based on the work that you do. Occasionally, using a lighter tone will ultimately make you both a lot more comfortable with each other. Now, I find laughter is a brilliant tool to enable you and your manager to bond. Making your manager laugh will develop a bond that will maintain a good rapport. I think it just helps so much. I know it can be hard, particularly if you've got maybe a grumpy boss. Um, but even if they make a joke once in a while, do try to laugh and find some pleasure in their sense of humour, even if you have to force yourself. Just doing what is expected is not really going to help you build great rapport with your manager. Most executives value employees who not only do their job, but look for and carry out new and better ways of accomplishing tasks. This really will reflect wonderfully on you if you do exceed expectations. Also, volunteering yourself for tasks that you know will make their lives easier can be a great way to show your initiative and interest in going above and beyond. Don't always wait for your manager to tell you what to do. Make their job easier and impress them by taking the initiative to do the things you are sure you need to do without being asked. You may also want to ask for long-term projects that you can work on when you have a lull in your regular assignments. Always help keep up your department's morale by being really positive and a productive team player. Remember that your manager has other employees to manage and other responsibilities. So if you can help relieve any concerns in this area by helping his other members of staff, it will go a long way to exceeding expectations and building a great relationship between you both. Making your manager look good is one of the best things you can do to maintain good rapport in your relationship. Remember, your manager's success is also great for your career, so do look for ways that your skills can help them succeed. For example, your manager may be a brilliant public speaker, but their slides are rubbish. So offer your services immediately. Always try to come to the rescue if you have if they've got anything urgent crop up. Obviously, let your manager take the credit and take heart in the fact that you have made the working relationship stronger. Do try to find common ground and show friendliness and respect towards your manager. Now, you don't have to be friends, but I think it can be easier to establish a comfortable working relationship when you add a personal touch. If they're receptive, go out for lunch with your boss every so often and take your catch-up meeting outside to a coffee shop at least once a week. This will give you the opportunity to meet in a relaxed environment and get to know each other a bit better. Having even a basic knowledge of your manager's home life, I do really think is beneficial in building a good rapport with them. I think there are so many benefits to operating on a friendly level with your manager. The simple, as we were saying earlier, how was your weekend, really does build good rapport, which in turn makes it so much easier to communicate on a variety of issues. Obviously, don't pry into someone's personal life or push any boundaries, but a genuine question about how they feel or what they watched on TV last night will only help you build a good rapport. Potentially, another way to go is to compliment your boss on something they do well and make them feel valued. I mean, isn't that what we want them to do for us? Now, at various points in your career, you will likely find yourself working for someone with whom you have little in common on either a personal or professional level. You can still forge a productive relationship if you try to improve your rapport and your interactions. And these tips I gave you today will really help you with that. Now, if you're in that position at the moment, keep trying to build rapport because it really is critically important for assistants to have a good working relationship with their manager. So that concludes our little video webinar blog for today. Um, just to remind you, there are loads and loads of great resources on Practically Perfect PA, mostly in the form of blog posts rather than these little videos, but we're hoping to do a few more of them, so keep that in mind. We also have the virtual summit coming up. We're crowdfunding for that at the moment. We're almost there, so hopefully it's going to go ahead. And again, you can find lots of information about that on the website as well. So yes, thank you for listening to our webinar today. I hope you found these tips really useful. Do keep trying to build rapport with your boss, and trust me, it will make your job much easier and lead to lots of exciting opportunities. Thanks again.